Welcome back, Noble Heroes. We return back to Mythia, where our heroes have just gotten done with a heart-to-heart and learned a bit about each other. Especially Hero and Isaac, who have some confidence issues.
Sorry. It's okay. I know. Me too.
Yeah,
me too.
Sorry. Do continue.
We return back to Jennifer's office, the office of Serafina Amberfont. And
No, it's not.
Oh, this is your actual office?
This is an office I am currently borrowing.
Okay.
Because I have not revealed that I am Serafina Amberfont. Thank you very much.
Don't say borrow, say stole.
No, I'm just... It's been granted to me by myself's other self.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So, you guys were discussing it. Hero hugged Isaac. And that's where we ended. We continue. Hero's gonna pull away from Isaac. He kind of sniffles a little bit. Takes that handkerchief again and wipes his face. So what now? He says.
I think we all have some feelings we could work out of our system. How about we take up Harper on his offer? Work up a good sweat. Well, more of a sweat, he says, kind of looking at his clothing after that
She looks at
experiment.
hers.
Yeah.
Because she's the one who's really sweaty right now. June doesn't sweat, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know where he lives.
I have his address.
Oh, that's convenient. Where does he live? He kind of like reaches for the address.
She'll just say it.
Okay. Why did you know that? Hero asks.
She had a
knows
note past
everything.
me.
Oh,
I glanced at it. What?
often remember things you glance at?
Oh, I remember everything I see.
Forever?
Unfortunately, yes.
That sounds horrible.
Oh, there are some very, very awful things that I wish I could forget. Although,
Hero's like staring into the void, contemplating that at the moment.
Yep.
Oh.
Do you think Harper would be open to training any of my team at all? My crew.
There's no harm in asking. Oh, sorry. We were sharing. I only took it down because I can't see Julian's face.
I do think some of them would certainly be interested. Maybe one or two.
Why don't we get Katrat to send them a note?
She looks to June.
Indeed, I actually need to speak with Kashrat today. All right. She will say, write the note first, and then...
She writes, she basically just writes to the three who are in town saying that Harper may have extended, some training offerings.
Shouldn't you ask him first, by the way?
Fine.
I was just saying.
I mean, I feel like it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, but okay. Fine. We'll do it your way.
See, this is the trouble with working with former villains and pirates.
Were you wanting me to ask Harper?
Yes, that was the plan.
I wanted to just bring him, see what he says. What's he gonna do?
Not train us as well.
It's fine. She writes asking Harper if
We're about to go there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Let's just ask him.
That was kind of my thought, is just go there, ask, and then if yes, then send notes to your friends to ask them if they want to come.
Isaac walks out the door. We're going.
Cool.
He starts hailing a cab.
All right.
All right, let's go.
Good luck with that. You'll have to get out of the whole complex before that happens. It'd be faster just to ask for one of the ones here.
Do they have cabs at the...
She goes, no, but we have carriages.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're free.
Do you guys get transportation?
Yes.
All right.
She just looks at you guys and says, okay, For a noble, you need to learn to take advantage of situations when you can, clearly.
Are you saying he's too good?
No, I'm saying that he doesn't think about all of the things that he could be doing. Oh dear, I think I'll create a monster if I really train you.
I think she's looking at you as an apprentice.
She is smirking at you.
I can't tell if this immortality is going to become a blessing or a curse.
Like all things, it's probably a bit of both.
At least I don't remember everything.
You all find yourself at the Lightwell Estate. It is a...
Lightwater?
Yes, that's what I meant to say. I apologize.
I had to pause for a minute myself.
You guys find yourself at Harper's home. As you pull up to the front, you are let out into a one-story...
Wait. En route, I need to talk to him about something.
Okay.
She goes, actually, Isaac, since we're on our way there is something I wanted to discuss with you in regards to Tear. I should warn you that, what was that chick's name again? First name?
Catherine.
That Catherine, the one you read in the journals, her last name is Lightwarden. She's one of Harper's ancestors.
Well, that changes things a bit. I'm not sure what to make of that.
Keep in mind it was back in the age of magic, so enough time has passed for it not to be fresh, but Harper's opinion could matter and help sway things either direction if you want.
Could sway things quite a bit. Considering what it did to the Paladin Order, he may be vehemently against it, but...
I cannot read Harper as well as I would like, so I don't know what he would do.
What happens, happens.
Indeed. But I wanted you to know that.
Thank you.
Okay, fast forward. Sorry, I meant to say that back in the room, but totes forgot.
While you're at the office, do you contact Kajrat to bring you those notes?
Yes, she will.
Okay. She will bring them to you. And she offers for later on for you to use her explicitly as a sort of a test subject to see the differences.
Okay.
She will show you...
She's not that enthusiastic as what I just made her be out to be. She was more
in
diplomatic.
fact, she's going to say, I will show you my parts.
June does not make this face. That was just Sarah going, shut up, dirty mind. She goes, very well. That would be a most appreciated offer.
All right, you set that up.
Mm-hmm.
And
After she leaves, June tries really hard to suppress the grin that just washes over her face.
gotcha. You find yourself at Harper's home, which is a squat, one-story, mostly wooden and brick building. It looks almost like a compound more than like a home. Unlike the others, it doesn't really have much of a roof. It's more of like a flat, almost adobe building. And you see that there is a lot of training dummies and it looks like almost like the neighborhood is using his home. Like it's a gathering place of some sort. And there is a sort of a crest of the sun, the sigil of Lightwarden on the front of his home. As you come up, he's going to open the door, but you see several people kind of looking out the window in your direction, people who you don't know. Welcome. I didn't expect you so soon. Come on in.
Did we interrupt?
No, he says. As you do come in, you're going to find, well, what looked to be like standard adult male drinking buddies, just kind of hanging around in his front room. And they're sort of the guys like looking out the window at you.
Oh my god.
Like the guys who hang out at barbershops.
Yeah.
Just
I
chat.
love it.
And then you're going to see Faylene and Red and Opt are all here as well. You're going to see a pudgy, round, unfortunate man who would very much remind you of Prongor.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to get up and he sort of waddles over towards you and he says, "It's a real honor," he says. "It's good to finally meet Roland's friends. You must be Euphemia."
And you're Opt, I'm
That's
guessing?
right. Opt. It's just Opt, he says. He's going to turn, Dom?
He says to me.
Yeah.
Isaac
I
says,
hope we both laugh.
Actually, no, June almost looks like she would, but she maintains a placid face.
hold on, out of game.
Euphemia
Why did
doesn't.
he confuse me with Dom?
Hero's like leaning on you like,
I
My name is Isaac, actually. But
"Oh, right.
Dom
The
is
tiefling."
Yes,
He says,
exactly.
"Sorry, my eyesight's not that good."
It's an honor to meet you. I've heard
He
many
says-
stories.
He reaches out his hand.
I shake his hand.
June is having
He goes,
trouble controlling the
"You
twitch
are
on her lips.
mighty cold. For a big robe like that, you need a blanket?"
I get cold easily. Bit frail.
I think I inhaled some dust.
As clerics tend to be.
There's a lot of it going on.
Red's going to say, "I think you maybe knocked him dead with a Dom term."
I feel like I'm missing out on a joke here. I don't know why it's so funny that I thought it was Dom.
Faylene is
He's
going
an old
to...
dwarf,
I know.
and you're not.
Oh.
There's more to it, but yes, but mostly that.
Faylene is going to give a wave. You will see that a new split runs down one of her fingers. And Harper's going to sort of welcome you in. "Can I get you anything? I got several types of ale, some from the Halfling Hills. That interests you."
Thank you. Not for me.
Well, Roland is still back at the ward.
He wrote
says.
to us.
He'll be along, but he said perhaps tomorrow.
Okay.
Did you want to get started?
We thought no time like the present. I did want to ask you something about it, though. Your offer, does it extend to any of my crew as well?
How many crew are there?
I have 3. I suspect at least 1 or 2 would be interested.
That'd be fine.
She reaches into her pocket that shouldn't fit, and she hands it to you, a piece of paper and a quill.
Yep. Then she writes the letters to them.
And then she hands you the coin. She just clicks the coin.
One of the beer guys is like, kind of like looking at you
Me?
from the back.
Yeah.
He's going to kind of like point at you and turn to Harper. "Is this the crow?" He says towards Harper.
Do I hear that?
Yeah.
I lean over and go, "Yes, I am."
Harper's going to turn. "Ignore Rod," he says.
All right. Well, crews aside, we brought a dear friend with us who I think would particularly enjoy working with you. And then Isaac's going to kind of like push Hero on the shoulder to step forward.
Aww.
Harper-
He has some gifts that I think could use some honing.
Harper does look startled. But he says, "You might be a hero," he says. Hero's going to kind of sheepishly nod. Red's going to say, "Meat kicks serious ass."
He's even killed a dragon.
Glad I'm going to forget that, Hero says. He blushes. Faylene repeats it. Dang it. Opt is going to say, "Oh, we're doing training?" Harper turns to him and sort of nods. He goes, "Any of you bow fighters?"
No.
No, another
Especially.
one. Never any bow fighters.
She
He
says,
says,
I can shoot a little, but it's not my primary mode of combat.
That makes me sad. None of us are rangers. None of us can train with ops.
he
We're
nods.
fighters. Technically, Hero could. If he's a fighter, but...
"Oh, let's head out back," he says. As you head out back, you're going to see that there is a...
June is going, but she's also hanging back, not expecting to be involved in physical training. Just saying.
Okay. Juniper, Phelan says.
Hello, Phelan. How are you?
I'm well. Bit of a scuffle in the Dumerage with some darkness. Did you hear what happened?
I did, yes.
How's Podjack?
He has recovered himself. And he passed along the... Excuse me. She actually stops mid-sentence, pulls out a quill and some paper, and then has it write while she says, continue. It's actually writing to the side by itself as she's talking to her now. She goes, he managed to pass along the information he needed. So,
Useful ability?
I'm sorry?
Are you thinking what the pen's drawing, or is it drawing on its own?
Oh, it's what I'm writing, yes.
You can think two things at once?
Yes.
Damn. That's impressive.
Practice makes perfect.
Don't shrug, you're going to make me feel like a dunce.
I don't see how that is possible.
She says, I assure you, it's totally possible.
Isaac yells out, "How do you think the rest of us feel?"
She laughs. It's like a fine chime.
She does this number, the pen goes back in, the thing rolls up, and she clicks the coin again.
I'm sure it hasn't passed you by that Harper is not a particular fan of godmothers.
No, he's made that quite obvious.
Well, I've always found your kind quite useful, she says. They worked with us in Dremel to save the whole kingdom, in fact.
I'm aware.
I think that's why he doesn't trust you, he says.
That's fair enough. But I figured better to simply let you know than to question whether or not.
If you are not going to be doing the training regimen that the rest are, I did want to speak to you about a political problem that's going to be coming up very soon.
I'm all ears. Give me one moment.
She knows.
She clicks the thing.
Okay.
Doesn't she come?
Kajrat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kajrat, please send this to Krator.
You're outside now?
Yes.
Okay. Kajrat does show up. The dragon?
Yes.
Okay. She says. She reaches out her wings.
Tell him it's from me.
Or her paws.
And tell him it's important.
Okay. She's going to take it and...
Sorry about that. Continue.
As you all head out in the back, Harper is going to turn towards all of you. All right. Before we get started, first thing we need to do is test the extent of your capabilities.
Okay.
Femia? He points over, and you guys are looking at a huge courtyard with dozens of training instruments and exercises and dummies and other such things in it. There's a lot of like local kids kind of hanging out back here with like sword and shield made of wood and like clapping back and forth with one another in a sort of like almost like a public tennis court kind of style. And way in the back, like the lot goes on for like a couple hundred yards. And it sort of spans between a bunch of neighborhoods. and there's like a kids park like way down there, just like with like a little like dragon on like a spring and like some swing sets and stuff.
Does it look like Shadow? The dragon.
No, it doesn't. It looks more like Krator than Shadow. And then like a bunch of slides and stuff. And a sandbox. But on the left side, you're going to see this like agility obstacle course. And then on the right side, you're going to see sort of like a strength like barbells and like a big weight area. He says, I figure we could go ahead and gain a gauge of where we are if you would think to run the course. He kind of looks at you with a small bit of challenge in his eyes. There's the top scores on the board, he says. As you look up, Faylene has run the top 2 times. Red, then Harper, followed by Roland.
Well, I'd like to put my name up there.
Are there any kids like doing an agility course?
It's way too hard for kids to do. It's
Across
like
the way. Go, Euphemia!
it's like for like military.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to like climb like a 30-foot wall kind of stuff. Like kids just aren't going to be able to do it. As you look at it, it's fairly daunting looking. And then he's going to look over towards Isaac. You were going to say
No,
something?
it's okay. Go ahead.
And say, I've often found the measure of a cleric is how fast you can rip a man apart. So he looks over at several dummies to the side. So he's going to lift up this like giant, it looks like it's like a punching bag with like arms and head on top of it. He says, this has a metal core, so it shouldn't blow away when you hit it. He's going to like drop it in this, like on a pillar, and it kind of like wobbles up there. He says, death, right?
That's right.
All right. So, challenge is how fast can you tear this thing apart?
All right. I'll take a stab at it.
He nods. All right, so you're gonna run the obstacle course.
Absolutely. She's gonna like make sure everything is adjusted so she's well balanced as much as possible.
All right, so it is. There's no minimum DC. It's only maximum DCs.
Okay.
So you only want to roll as high as possible 3 times in a row
3 times in a row. Okay.
on Dex.
Is it Dex or is it Athletics?
It's Dex.
It's Dex. Okay. It's not that great. 12 is the first one.
All right. So as you run up a ramp, you're going to see Red sort of cackling maniacally, is going to like pull on this lever. And suddenly these large bars like start swinging from the side through a grate of wood. So you're rolling, dodging these things. Then you get to a wooden ring that you apparently need to jump and hang on to and like whirl around and then leap off the other side of it. As you jump on it, your weight is not 100% enough to like carry the momentum forward. So you wind up hanging on it for like 5 seconds as it turns slowly. And then it like whips back around the other way. And on there, you're able to jump off of it. And then you follow up on like these, it's like a gridded balance beam.
Okay.
So it's like a bunch of, there's a bunch of holes in the floor, basically, square holes. And the holes are large enough to where you can't just like cross your feet between them. So you have to basically tightrope walk across it. And
Okay.
your foot slips once or twice into the holes, but you don't fall down, which would probably hurt a lot. And then you flip off the front and are on to the next part.
I'm going to use the other dice. I didn't like that roll very much. Okay, that's better. 20.
You ascend a great wall and are forced to, like, you know how Fred Flintstone, like, slides down the dinosaur's tail in the theme song?
Yes.
You basically are doing that on, like a very narrow beam. And
should be good
leaping
at
off
that.
the end of it
Yeah.
onto a bunch of, like, hanging circles of wood that you have to cross through. And then the second lever is pulled, and suddenly they start, like, moving and, like, rotating.
Oh, God.
So you have to, like, wait for the momentum to carry you to the correct one. And then the final challenge waits.
Come on, dear. I hate you. 13.
It's your first time doing the course. You can't.
As you run to the end, panting, you see that Red is clearly, like, he has a measure of time. He's got a little, like, hourglass.
Mhm.
He's turned it over. And it has run out, the first one, and he's turned over a second one. And you're about halfway through that one. And he's going to be looking very carefully at it as he watches your last foot kind of hit the final. There's a little foot indentation in the floor. And as you hit it, he's going to look up, and then he calls out your time. He says 2 minutes, 45 seconds. And you look up at Fayleen's 1 minute and 30 seconds on the top one of the board.
She looks right to Harper and says, "Let me try that again."
So you're panting at this point because it was really hard. But Harper has no problem with that.
If only they could see what you did out in the Doom Merge.
I know, right?
But the point is to become consistently more able to turn out like a good.
Jim. Faylene is going to be sitting on the far wall, a little brick surface next to some mulch with you. And she sort of looks over. So, do you know the Valnor family? She says.
The Valnor family?
Yes.
Do I? I assume I probably have heard of them, at least.
Yes, you know quite a bit about the Valnors. They are a noble house of Giran. You would know their name with some sort of crossness associated with them, an annoyance. The Valnors are... So King Coldmane was not his actual name. His name was...
I'm assuming something Valnor?
Yes,
Yes.
correct. That family was put out, to say the least, when Coldmane was killed by Roland. And it was, from rumors that you've heard, their grandson, Florian Valnor, was expected to be the next steward after Harper. And it was expected that Harper would train him, and it was a big uproar when he took Roland instead. You know that there is a bit of ambition when it comes to the current head of household, Ruthert Valnor. He wanted the position of War King and has wanted it for a very long time.
I'm aware.
We are seeing a lot of pressure from noble friends of the Valnor family. They want to oust Roland as steward.
And their claims as to why?
Him leaving with you all. They say he's not taking care of Giran. He needs to be here with the Sword Pact, as the army is forced to. It is not a legitimate reason, but Ruthert is using it as a proxy battle to try to oust Conan. Codan, not Conan. To oust Codan from the war seat so that he could take it as king himself.
Oh God, no, sorry. I just got caught on repeat of Conan the Barbarian.
Adventure.
I know, I'm sorry. It's actually just keeps replaying in my head. Please say what she said again. Oust him.
Roland and Codan have always been close. Attacking Roland is a way to attack Codan. He's the politically weakest of the kings. Many people in the city, even normal citizens, still see Codan as a foreigner because he is an Ursa.
Out of game, is there any precedent for the steward to frequently be gone from the city
Yes.
during a sword pact?
Sword Pact hasn't been called in like 300 years.
That's not a problem for me to know.
Oh no, certainly not. It's happened before. Usually in times of exactly like this one with prophecy.
Okay. She goes,
But many stewards were not the same back then. The position of steward is very different now than it used to be. Harper changed it. The position of steward used to be like a military position. Only because of Harper's anti-authority streak did it become this like do whatever you need to, like almost vigilante.
but however, prior to this, there was still precedent of the steward being away during the sword pact.
Right, but it was usually
Especially
on
with
something for Giran.
With the blessing of the king, correct?
Yes, correct.
So we have precedent on our side as well.
True, but you already see the argument. They're going to say that if Codan wants to put Roland away from Giran, he's being irresponsible and should step down.
Well, then they would simply need the other kings to back it.
Maybe.
Okay, she says, continue. She was thinking. That was all internal thoughts. Continue.
I was wondering if the godmothers could help in any way with the situation. Roland has never been good with politics. And he's more likely to give up the steward's seat to Florian Valnor, the son, than he is to fight.
Have you spoken to Leslie?
No. Why would I speak to Leslie? The Light Warden's family is powerful, certainly, but Harper has more political sway than she does.
I'm not talking about with political sway. I'm talking about with Roland.
I'm not sure I want to make his girlfriend convince him to stick around if he doesn't want to.
That's not the point. She would be out of game. From what I know, Leslie would be the type to persuade him to stick to his guns, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes, she goes, from what I know of Leslie, she is definitely the type to keep to her moral values. And
It's slightly more complicated even than I have stated. Florian has long fancied Leslie and thinks himself a rival of Roland's.
don't I know that, though?
Yes.
She goes, as much as I hate to admit this, I am also aware of that.
I don't think Roland really knows Florian exists, but Florian considers Roland his number one rival. Either way, I think Leslie wants to stay out of the situation as much as possible to try to avoid Florian's affections.
That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting we attack this from multiple fronts. Roland is technically our weak link. He will step back, you're right. So if he is bolstered by his girlfriend, or his friend even, that would help to at least keep him in the fight first off. Meanwhile, the more political front will be taken by Harper. And
I'm getting the feeling that this is rather manipulative of Roland.
No, not if you simply state what we mean.
I don't think Roland knows what he wants.
Then what is it for us to decide if he steps down?
I was hoping that the Godmothers would protect Kodan.
That is a possibility, but it also heavily depends on what Roland wants. If Roland wants to step down, I'll support his decision.
Well, I think the decision would be easily made if we told him the connection between the Valnors and Colby, but that's also manipulative of Roland.
What you're saying is any releasing of information is simply manipulating him, correct? I'm not saying tell him in a certain light. I'm telling you to say, tell him everything. And tell him the reasons. Everybody keeps treating Roland like a child. He's going to continue to be a child.
Very wise words. Well, consider me chastised. I certainly have been treating Roland with kid gloves.
I have noticed that seems to be the case with the majority of Harper's crew, including Red. She happens to have Red in her sights, which is why she can say that.
You seem very wise. You should be let in on certain information concerning Roland. Something that even he doesn't know. But it could affect your journey greatly.
Why doesn't he know first?
It's dangerous for him to know. It's not for you.
She feels vaguely uncomfortable about knowing something about Roland that Roland doesn't know himself, but she will listen because she is June.
You know Roland's fate by heart.
I do.
Me and Harper discovered very young that Roland's fate ties him inextricably to the people of Karen. He shall raise hearts high on a spear of duty. I believe it is that line. Roland's emotional state affects the city deeply.
Even whilst away?
Yes.
I imagine that the city has been in a bit of interesting turmoil, then, for the past month or two.
Yes. If you look beneath the surface, you can certainly find anxiety.
Okay, during the time where his fate was just completely AWOL, how long ago was that?
Midway through.
Like, when he wasn't hearing from either the other or
Was that
what's
in
his face?
Bridgewalk?
That was for Bridgewalk after
After fighting
that
dragons?
that was like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so she says, what was...
It was 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
So when his fate was completely blinked out, that's when I want to know.
Right.
She's going to say, that time period, what happened to the city then? She's not going to say why, she just wants to know the exact answer.
I'm not sure anything happened to the city.
What was the...
Why do you ask about that specific time?
Because Roland's fate completely stopped working.
I do remember feeling as though the city were very disjointed. While Roland's fate can be a large issue, it also unites Garen. It gives them a common feeling. Sometimes the city rages with him. Other times it cries with him. But sometimes they are inspired.
And you are concerned that if he were to be aware of this, it would cause his emotions to fluctuate wildly.
I think he would stress greatly about the idea.
I agree.
The problem is, You're exactly right. We're treating Roland with kid gloves, but his fate is far grander than even he knows. It is the very reason he was chosen to be steward. I know that he thinks that it is because of his ability to fight, but it is not.
I understand the hesitancy to tell him that, because of that exact reason. But he's never going to come to terms with it if he isn't aware. He'll only be putting off and putting off. It's like sticking your finger into a dam. More holes are going to keep appearing, and he is eventually going to break. He is very unstable right now.
I knew that you would know the extent of the difficulty of this mission better than I. We had discussed if this was the time that he should know or not. And I thought that we should ask you all.
June glances over at the athletics
You see
course
Isaac,
and
point his hand towards a dummy and black death boils out eating it like snakes.
Actually, he's using Flame Strike. That's a big
Oh,
pillar of
you have flame strike now?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He throws some powder up in the air, and then a literal pillar of flame just comes down and immolates it.
Like
You guys have never
radiates to
seen
the
him use that
sky.
spell.
yeah, she was actually in the process of murmuring, I wonder when he learned that one.
Just picturing skulls and flames
Yeah.
roaring.
June looks over at Valine and says, I am incredibly guilty of treating people as though they are young and as treating them as children. I understand that. But after spending as much time with this group as I have, I feel like it's important to let them come into their own. They have to grow up sometime. And you have to stop treating him like that. He needs to know.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult, isn't it? I think perhaps you're right. The two of you look down at the same time. Meanwhile.
Flame strike is going off.
All right. How fast, how many turns can it take for you to reach 100 points of damage?
Get rolling, sir.
So that's 35, 30, so we're at 65.
Okay. Two
And then-
turns?
No, we're at 65 total. So 2 turns, and then... Oh, that's a great roll. Another 35 damage.
So 95?
It was already
That's
9.
exactly 100.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's 100.
Okay,
So
so
it's
three
65.
3 turns? Okay. So, go ahead and describe how this dummy is flayed.
Okay, so first Isaac, he's kind of looking the dummy over, and then he steps back 30 feet, and he takes out a vial of sulfur, and he kind of sniffs it and rubs it in his fingers, and then he says a prayer and kind of throws it up in the air. And anyone watching is just like, is he doing something? And then all of a sudden there's a twinkle in the sky, and a massive pillar of flame just whoosh comes down and hits the dummy. So it takes damage from that. It's on fire, and then he walks up to it, and these shadowy tendrils come out of his back, and then just start whipping it and lashing it and cutting it to pieces until eventually it's dead.
Harper is going to approach you. Do you talk with the staff?
No, and actually I was coming here because I was wanting to learn to use a sword.
looks at the staff, and he's got kind of this like curious expression. What's with the staff?
I mean, it's a staff. What else do you want to know about it?
What's actually with the staff?
And Isaac said her two voices like, tell him what the staff is, don't tell him what the staff is.
He's going to kind of hold up his hand. I see 3 chords coming out of each one of those chords. He says, one is a mind. So 3 minds. I assume those aren't chords.
You don't see things like normal people, do you? Yes. Each of these is the spirit of someone long dead.
He's going to look at them. The second thing that I see is a binding. And the third one is a different binding. First binding is to the staff, and the second one is to something else.
You've got a sharp eye. That last one isn't something I found out about until just recently. There's a shard of a different artifact lodged in the body of the staff.
Oh no, I see that. That's not the same.
Hang on, what did he say the third chord went to? I was taking notes and now I'm...
He didn't say what it went to,
He
just
said
something
it just
else.
went to something else.
The staff is vibrating in your hand. You sense annoyance and fear in the staff.
And you can't tell what it's bound to, that final one.
He's gonna like walk up and he sort of like, he seems to take something invisible in the air and he sort of like, he goes and he kind of touches his fingers to the tip of the big gourd.
Mm-hmm.
Put the staff on the ground. He's going to take a couple steps back. He
Isaac
pulls
just
out his sword.
drops it. He lets it clatter to the ground.
He holds it up. He goes like that. As he does, you're going to see the gourd is just going to like rolls off. You're going to see the staff like visibly vibrating on the ground. You don't hear anything from them though. The gourd is going to roll off, and you're going to see that the moment that it separates from the staff, you can see the entire thing, just the skulls. The illusion seems gone. You are going to watch as the skull, it's like an arm, like reaches up out of the ground and like grabs onto the ground, and then like a whole gigantic spine, like the spine is like spiked.
I'm pretty
Down the
sure
back.
that all of us are noticing this by this point.
Yep.
You're going to see Asher get up out of the ground.
Is the one that got cut off still a gourd? Or is it?
No,
It's a
it's
skull.
Asher's skull.
Oh, so Asher's skull rolled away and then got up out of... Oh.
Like out of the ground came
My
a
God.
gigantic
Meanwhile-
skeleton.
Isaac, what the hell is... what the pits is going on over there?
You're going to see Asher like swiftly turn around and like grab onto the staff. And then as he does, his body's going to like... And he just appears back on the staff itself. And he did it like, oh shit. Like, not supposed to see this. The staff is going to like clatter back to the ground with no more.
Isaac's standing there and he goes...
So the skeleton was about like 8 feet tall and like sort of hunched over and just like gigantic.
Yes. I'm assuming we all are convening
Yep.
on the area.
Harper,
What just happened?
Did you also see that? I'm not just dreaming. Isaac's gonna walk up and pick up the staff.
Maybe don't pick it up. Harper
His
says.
hand's hovering. Does he feel any animosity from the staff?
Yes.
Oh.
You gain the sense that if you grab it, they're going to call you a fool.
The staff is going to call me a... Okay. That kind of animosity, or like...
Actual malicious intent.
Yeah.
Or the killing kind.
Not the killing kind.
Okay.
Isaac picks it up.
Yeah, of course.
Harper's going to, like, sort of hold his sword up towards it. You fool! You've allowed him to reveal us, he says.
It's kind of like an open secret now, isn't it? I'm just saying. Like, hasn't that been an open secret for a while?
Among the group?
Not that one of them is still like a fully intact undead creature.
That's true.
As you grab onto the
Fair.
staff,
I've never seen that happen.
you are suddenly aware, now that the binding is temporarily cut, you are holding 3 CR9 objects.
Okay.
3 skeletal warriors lie within the staff.
You said it was Asher that we saw do all that?
All of them.
No, the one that rolled off was Asher.
Yes, it was Asher.
Isaac's going to turn and say, Harper, do you still see the same 3 bindings? Or 2?
Yes.
Okay. Pardon us for a moment. He's going to like walk to the edge of the training arena and then he's going to awaken the skulls.
You can't control them. They're CR9.
Oh, they're now CR9.
They always were.
But they were
did they just
bound.
listen to me because they felt like it?
No,
Because they were
Asher
bound.
hid. He wasn't under your control.
He pretended to be.
So you never made the staff, like, the grip
Mm-hmm.
is not the skulls.
Yeah, I know. But I would make the skulls either conceal themselves or unconceal themselves.
Right, but that's just a magical property of the staff.
Right.
Like, you
Okay.
didn't, like, touch the skull itself and be like, all right, get up.
Yeah, I'm saying I do the same thing with the staff as usual, where I undo the concealment.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
I'm not trying
You
to like,
see
dominate the
the
staff. Okay.
You see, like, a bunch of, like, playground kids are, like looking over the hill, like, what's going on over there? That crazy Harper stuff.
I rotate it so that I'm facing Asher, and I go, Asher, why have you been keeping that a secret from me?
You never asked.
What?
Kind of got a
He's
point.
got a point.
But yeah.
And the secrets that we have revealed about us to you, you have told everybody, he says.
Okay, then answer me this. Wait, no, I'm not going to ask that because Daniel just told me. If there's 3 skeletal warriors attached to this thing, why is there only 1 binding to Asher and not the others?
So he said there was 3 strings to each skull.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they each have a binding?
They each have 2 bindings.
Okay. One is to the staff and the other is to something.
Which is their body elsewhere, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Okay, I misunderstood you the first time you...
So their bodies, quote unquote, are kept inside an extra dimensional space which is attached to the
Can
staff.
you use them to fight people?
Shit, can you level me up 2 times? Because then I can...
Hey, I'm all...
So-
we are level 9.
I can control things under my level -2. So if I'm level 11,
I'd accept being level 11. That'd be great. Can we
Sounds
be level
like
11?
fun.
Let's do it.
Training montage should result in a jump.
I agree. I'll even join in this training montage if that's the case.
Based on Ford Quest momentum, which you've had 0 for the last 7 sessions.
That's fair.
we don't get experience for hanging out in the city. And
Shooting the shit. Explain
Isaac's
what.
going to reconceal them
That's
and
great.
turn around and walk back to Harper and say, I've had this staff for a long time, but I don't think I was ever powerful enough to uncover what you just uncovered about it. Did but I don't think it's a threat.
Red's gonna like appear, slap you on the back. Yeah, he does that.
Okay. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one.
Yeah, so June was just sitting here.
And then Isaac's going to turn to Harper again and go, I apologize for any undue stress that may have caused.
I've seen worse. He says.
June will just sigh and turn around and head back to where Faylene. Actually, she goes over and stands next to Harper at this point.
I can't believe they're CR9. Like, holy. That's badass.
Okay. He is going to immediately walk over. Euphemia, let's talk about that fate of yours.
Oh, he just left her. That's funny. She continues on towards the wall.
Euphemia is probably... She's run that as much as she was able. Was she able to run it again?
Man, that's going to be so cool when I can use those.
Use them to knock everything out in front of us.
Because I don't even have to have, like, constructs with me. I can just be by myself and then all of a sudden, like... I didn't think I was going to learn anything from this training.
But you came along anyway. That's awesome.
When Harper calls your name, Red is over there, and he is looking at your glove. It's like, what's up with this?
What do you mean? She looks at it.
Do you look down at the magical symbol of the apprentice gloves that you got in Mirban's tower?
The janky apprentice gloves.
Oh, I hadn't replaced them.
What's the magic?
It's... Oh, what's the name
Mage
of it?
Hand.
Thank you. Mage Hand. But did it only have one use out of game?
No, it was a nerfed version of Mage Hand. I can't remember what it was.
There's a lot of restrictions on it. I can't remember what they were.
Right.
I'll look up the notes later.
Whatever she remembers, she would remember what the restrictions are. She tells him.
Okay. He goes, I love that spell. He goes, have you ever used it to bring a dagger back to you when you throw it?
No, but it's a great idea.
He goes, okay, summon it.
She does.
Poof, a little green hand appears. He goes, all right, hold your dagger and then have it hold the dagger too.
She does.
Goes, like grabs onto the dagger. Now throw the dagger with the hand attached.
Oh, I remember what the things was. She has to actually perform the action.
That the hand is doing.
Yes.
Was that the only restriction for it?
There was
I could
something else.
swear there was something else that limited it.
but that was part of it.
Okay, she does so.
Okay. He goes, well, they are kind of janky, aren't they? You know, we can easily get these fixed up at a shop.
You can?
Yeah, sure.
Technically, you've been walking around with a person who could have fixed them the whole time and didn't ask.
Oops.
She
She's
goes,
had other concerns.
all right, throw it and then pull it back.
Okay. She throws.
So as you like hurl the knife, the hand just goes with it, like attached to it. And then when it gets there, you have the hand pull the knife out and bring it back to you. He goes, hang on. He's gonna like run away.
Euphemia is staring at the hand with intense concentration.
And you completely forgot about Red.
Yep.
Oh, was I doing this?
She's thinking about Harper's suggestion of distance grabbing for the fate thing.
Oh, yeah.
Can you put a glove on the mage hand? Because that'd be hilarious.
Does it have gloves, or do those gloves count?
It does not have gloves, certainly.
Can you put a glove on a mage hand?
Does it have to, since she has gloves on and it's an extension of that?
You don't know.
She turns to talk to Harper. Harper.
He looks at you. So,
You'd mentioned about being able to grab something from someone from a distance.
I was going to talk to you about that. He's going to pull out his sword. So originally, when I had my fate, he says, it was this. He basically like cuts downwards and then like his sword goes into the ground a little bit and then he pulls it out. He just like cuts through brick.
Mm-hmm.
That was all I could do. And then he's going to take it and like shove it into his arm, and you're just going to see this like blue vortex appear where his sword is. He goes, I could cut into people, objects, intangibles. And then I figured out how to do this. He's going to slice, and like a brick far away just goes right in half.
How?
So I simultaneously cut the distance between my sword and the brick, and then cut the brick. And lastly, I figured out how to cut an intangible the distance. I'm not saying you can't or ever will be able to do that. But your fate is as similar to mine as I've ever seen. The first thing that I think you need to do consider what you want to do and then how you would do it within the bounds of your fate's rules.
Okay. Let me reread my fate.
The thing that most interests me about your fate is that ability you have to make items out of it. I heard you made your knife.
I did. I never know what will turn out from it, though.
Here's my question. You steal something, right? Take something,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't want it, so you put it in a thing.
Right.
What if it's a bad thing they don't want?
Sorry.
So, one, I would say sometimes things people think are bad things are not actually bad things to have still. And also it can create some pretty horrific objects.
Horrific how? For instance, have you ever put a memory in something?
No. Wait. Hold on. Out of game. When she stole the memory from the Grim Reaper, where did she store that? Did she put it in something by
into
accident?
you.
Okay. Okay, so she would say,
But you think you can only do that because you were dead and a soul at the time.
no, not in an object.
So we're going to have to do some experimentation here. Probably on me.
The look on her face gets sort of like, ugh.
Well, I can cut your capability to see all of me. So, you'll only grab specific things. And then let's work with what we have. Anybody else, I think the prying into the entirety of their life might be a little too much.
You sure you're ready to let me do that?
I think it's the only way we can simply test your fate. Roland says he trusts you, I trust you. Kings of Garen also,
Bloody hypocrite.
despite their rather... Never mind.
She raises an eyebrow. I'm going to assume that's politics, which I hate and don't want to hear about.
I mean, technically you're going to have to trust me to cut you first.
Of course I trust you.
He's going to just kind of like, okay, we're done. You do feel a little weird.
What did you cut?
I cut your capability to see all of somebody.
May I? She gestures to him.
He says, so, Faylene is going to interestedly come up. I did want to take part in this, Faylene says, as she kind of like inexorably heads towards Harper and Euphemia's experimentation, sort of inviting you along.
She will keep pace.
As you head up towards the two of them, she says, so, we've dealt with a lot of different unique circumstances concerning Harper's fate. It's proven to be pretty unbelievable. I think your Euphemia's has the ability, perhaps, to be equally as powerful.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
I think they're about to do some major experimentation. Do you have any ideas?
Simply watch for the time being.
Please don't let me mess Harper up. Please.
Break him. Break him.
Please. Oh my god.
So, for a couple of minutes, Harper, like, has you take stuff out, and then, like, you took a memory. Can I remember it? If I look at it, can I remember it? And then he's going to have you take out some weird stuff. Like, can you take out his forgetfulness? And then does he just remember everything?
Does he?
Yeah, I want to know the answers to these questions.
So, when you take out his forgetfulness,
I want to know the memory first.
when you take out the memory, Harper cannot remember it anymore.
If he looks at it.
No, he doesn't. He takes it out, and it's like a little picture, like a glass jeweled picture. He does ask about why it's jeweled, but you've never gotten an answer to that. At best, you could imagine that it's something to do with your fate being about stealing. And when you release it, it just like he remembers it. He can remember it instantly.
Mm-hmm.
When you pull out his forgetfulness, he's going to suddenly like, well, I did just remember a lot of things, he says. From a long time ago, mostly. I don't actually like this very much, he says.
June actually just goes, right next to Faylene.
He's going to fairly candidly talk about how he like just remembered like when he was like in grade school, like the thing that he forgot to do with a kid who asked him to hang out after school and like that kind of stuff. Like just a lot of really ridiculous small things that would easily be forgotten.
You see June just raise her eyebrow at you.
Euphemia would say, that's the unfortunate consequence of taking things out of people that sometimes don't seem good.
What form does it take?
What form does it take?
Yeah. Is it a remember all?
It's a mirror.
Sorry.
It's a little hand mirror.
Okay.
I like that. So what's the weird stuff, he asks?
So he asks for more and more integral things to be taken out. At one point, he asked for you to take out his personality.
You will notice her visible hesitation as the stakes escalate.
Do you do so?
She says, you know you have to want these things back.
I think I do.
With your personality currently.
There can be consequences
He
if
says,
you don't take it back.
you can drop it, though.
I can drop it.
But you can't make me take it.
I can't force you to take it.
He nods, seemingly to understand. All right, I have an idea. Rather than that, he's going to sort of like take his sword and reach and just like bury it in his chest. And you'll see the little vortex appear. And then he kind of going to fish around, and then he kind of twists it. All right, there's something in there for you. Something you can take forever. Go ahead. I'll hand it to you.
She nods and reaches her hand in.
Okay.
I am concerned. I don't say anything, but I am concerned.
As you reach in, though you can't see anything inside of him, you are going to feel something sort of fall into your hand. Do you pull it out?
She makes eye contact with him and waits for his nod.
He nods.
She does.
All right. When you pull it out, you're going to see that it appears to be a memory. He says, you're going to see a face written, sort of etched in sort of a silver metal, like a little square plate. The face is of some kind of monstrosity. It appears to have tentacles coming out of its face. And it seems to be staring directly out of the metal at you.
He wouldn't have.
Bad memory, he says. Try putting it in something.
Is there anything nearby that, like a...
Want to put in a rock?
Sure, if there's a rock available, whatever's close by.
Okay.
She points to a rock, pulls it up, and
Euphemia grabs it. She does so.
All right. You're going to see Harper looks a little lighter now that it's gone. As you place the memory in the stone, you're going to suddenly see like a window appear in the rock. Like you're looking through a clouded vision of the stone into the memory. And you're going to watch almost like you're looking at a recording as the memory plays out. It looks like Harper, from his perspective, is going to be tripped. His legs fly forward and he falls to the ground. And then a darkness creature with tentacles coming out of his face is going to appear above him, look down on him, and laugh. That's the whole thing. But you watch it play out in real time. He watches as well. I couldn't remember it clearly. But your rock is way clearer than I could have remembered it. It seems like the things that are in us stay fresh when you have them. Now break it.
She takes it and she lobs it at the wall.
All right. As you lob it at the wall, Harper is going to turn and slice. As he does, the stone is going to go, and the plate reappears and hits the wall.
Wait, out of her hand?
Yes.
Wait, so you can preserve shit if you stick it in something and then he cuts it?
Well, hold on. He didn't want it back. That might be why it's preserved. Because if the person doesn't want the thing back, it becomes a real object,
I
right?
thought so, he says. He approaches and takes the plate back.
What? How?
There were several strings around it, binding it to you. I got them.
I didn't think that was possible.
One thing about fates like ours, the only limit is your imagination.
What else were you thinking? She says.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. What I was actually imagining was you just taking the fate of every powerful ascendant around you and sticking it on a cloak and then wearing it. Do you just gain all their powers?
We don't know.
I
I've
mean,
never
it's
tried-
not something that we could do and feasibly in the moment, but just a extreme.
She's never tried to put more than one intangible in in a single object, though.
Yeah, but he never cut the cords either.
Well, there we go.
She says, how long can you cut the cords of fate?
Very short. But it's been getting longer.
How long?
Perhaps at most, it says about 20 seconds.
Oh, that's actually less than I've managed it before. What was my longest time for not consuming a ton of wishes? It was a while. It was a few hours.
It's just like, that's like 10 wish points to do that much.
Okay. Good to know. She likes to have comparisons.
You do learn that Harper's, like, cut time for a lot of things is shorter than yours. Like if they're attached to a person.
Got it.
It looks like your fate removes it from personhood, making it into something that I can manipulate more permanently.
This would make sense. And you can clearly cut things in yourself, right?
Yes. Are you able to take things from yourself?
The last time I tried, I could only take something out of myself that hadn't originally been with me. But fate's changing. So I could try again.
Definitely worth a look in the future. But mine tends to be pretty easy to put back together if I screw it up because I can see it all. Yours might not be so simple.
Yeah, but I need to know.
But I also can't do this, he says, showing you the mirror, or the plate. I can't put it in an object and give it that thing's ability.
Okay.
Cold chills. I got them.
It's going to require more experimentation, but...
It's a start.
So, he's going to kind of sigh and turn towards Jennifer.
He skipped Hero. I'm surprised he didn't ignore June and go straight to Hero.
He says, I don't have a lot I can help you with. There's a golden thread that runs from your back. Wishes. And it's one of the few threads that evades.
Fascinating. She's waiting for more.
He says, I don't know the extent of your power, or if there even is one. But I can tell that you're holding on to a decent amount of it. So what can you do?
Well, I'm a wizard, first and foremost.
So, what rankings of spells do we have?
She hates it, but she goes, currently 5th.
There's some nice magic in 5th.
However, I have access to it all.
What do you mean?
I can cast up to 9th if necessary.
If necessary.
Using wishes.
Ah.
Anything I know.
Does your injury cause you difficulty?
She raises an eyebrow. Surprised. You can see that.
Yes.
Then yes, you can definitely say it does. But it has been very slowly improving.
Well, what if she were to merely to take it away from you?
Is it possible that you could do the same thing that you did for yourself?
Cut it out.
No. Cut her ability to see.
Everything.
I would destroy your mind if you tried. And it would not be intentional. Your mind can't handle what I am.
I don't really want a repeat of other things, so I'm fine with that.
I don't mean to be rude, but are you alive, or are you an object?
I was born, if that's what you're asking.
You were born. How?
The same way everyone is born, from a mother and father.
You're not composed of...
Just
that.
because I am not human does not mean that I'm not alive.
You're unlike any creature I've ever seen.
That's fair. There are no others like me anymore.
You're going to
But
see kind of a disturbed look.
suffice it to say, I was born.
He's going to, look...
She has a wry look on her face when she says that. You would... Well, are you there? No, you're probably like...
I'm around.
Are you talking to the heads?
I didn't know if you were involved in this
I'm
conversation
too
or not.
embarrassed to talk to them in front of everyone.
Gotcha. I don't know if you're involved in this conversation because you're the only one who would catch on to why she's
Yeah.
got that
I
smile.
don't think Isaac's around.
Okay.
And... this darkness.
How many people are here? Just us?
I think it's just the 4.
And plus Faline? So you, me, Faline, and him?
I think so.
I trust your all's discretion, of course.
Are you infected?
No. Not exactly. I have absorbed and remade it.
In yourself.
Well, I didn't exactly have a choice. Suffice it to say, I have dealt with this for far longer than you could ever imagine. It is not hard.
I don't know how to help you. I train muscle.
I would like to repeat the question. Can you cut her ability to see if she were to steal my injury?
Yes.
I would be very willing to try this.
What is the injury? Even general.
I don't know if you'll even understand.
Can you make it available?
Make it available?
Like, if someone's willing, can't it just kind of come to my hand? Like, they can...
All I'm seeing is that there is scar. I can't tell where it is.
I was a 9th level wizard. prior to this injury.
That's the highest level.
I was the foremost wizard of this entire world before I was injured.
So being 5th probably doesn't feel very good.
What exactly injured you? What could injure somebody of that power?
I cast a spell too many times in order to... Have you all ever heard of the 13 Days of Chaos?
Yes. Faline nods.
I stopped that.
Isaac, you have heard of a historical event.
Is he
13
here?
days where the world kind of turned over. Oh, are you here?
You gonna wander over?
No.
Okay, no.
I appreciate-
Do you stop
I
that?
appreciate knowing what I know.
Do you stop her and say, I don't know what it is, or...
Would Yuffie know what that is? Is that a well-known thing?
Actually, it probably would be.
Isn't
I mean,
it?
it's like in the world. Now, no people don't know what caused
Yuffie
it.
never went to like elementary school.
Yeah.
So she
Okay.
would not know.
Okay, do you say anything?
She'd nod for a minute and say, "What's that?"
At the very end of the Age of Magic, it was what caused the Age of Magic to fall. There was a being called a djinn. It shared my ability to grant wishes. It caused the world to turn on its ear, if you will. I was the one who stopped it, and the only way I could was to cast the actual spell of wish, not my ability.
You're going to hear a soft gasp come from Faline. I've heard that spell can destroy the body.
I should have died, yes.
But you didn't because of what you are.
Correct, I cannot die. I am what you would call a true immortal, like the angels.
You see a level of surprise in Harper's face, certainly, that you're revealing so much information.
He can see a lot of shit, and... well,
We have to trust if we want to get help.
exactly. And this is something she would give a lot to fix. So if he will help her do this, she will tell. If you can remove that injury, it would boost our chances immensely in completing our quests better. Not to mention it would be a great relief to me.
Faline, give me a dagger. Faline hands him a dagger. Here's my thought. I believe I can cut your capability to see everything but a scar. Now, if I'm not mistaken, her injury is substantial. I don't know if I can cut the entire thing at once. I think we should do this slowly. We should cut a very small portion, and you take it and make sure it doesn't change her, like you might have warned us it might. If it doesn't, we'll do the next section, and so on and so forth, over a course of a while. Not today.
I believe that would be wise.
Probably several months would be my suggestion. Let's give it a try.
Yes.
You're going to see, as he takes the
June
dagger,
does clench her fist. She's apprehensive about allowing this level of trust, for one, and also extremely keen to get this fixed.
Euphemia will give her like a bracing arm for a moment there.
he's going to like put it on his shoulder and then like push forward, and you're going to see the tip of the dagger begin to pierce into the atmosphere, forming a little vortex.
Do I feel anything?
No. He's going to jerk it. And as he does, you do feel something. It's a pain.
Do I feel enough to cry out?
No.
She does wince.
He's going to pull a sword out and go like that, and you stop feeling any pain. He goes, all right, it's ready. As you stick your hand in, he's going to like nudge the knife, and you will feel his knife push something into your hand.
She grasps it.
Right.
Pulls it out.
June, roll a 1d8. You regain whatever spell slot you roll.
Oh God, please be 8. Please be 8. Can I?
No inspiration.
Come on.
All right, so you
What if
don't
it's already
gain
the ones I have?
spells, so you open up to max level wizard, which you don't have max spell slots in any of your levels.
Huh?
You might have too many level 1s, I think, but if you roll, the only...
I have max on 1 and 2 and 3.
Do you?
Yeah, and 4. The only ones I don't is 5. 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Let me take a look.
Is this open to negotiation out of curiosity?
Why don't you make it cantrip 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and then you roll a d6.
Yes, that's correct. We'll do that.
Want to do that one?
Cantrip is 1, then 5th is 2, 6th is 3, 7th is 4, 8's 5, 9th 6. Now, you do not gain the spells of that level, but you can upcast to that level your current spells.
I'll take it! Come on, 6, baby. Come on, 6. Come on.
Good luck.
3. So cantrip was 1, 2, 3. Yes. I'll take it.
Hey, that's still good.
That could have been like,
I'll take it. And you know what? This can keep going in the future.
All right, you can do one of these per level.
Get a 6 on the next one.
Steel heel? I'm going to call it a steel heel. Okay.
You are
June.
going to feel a part of your former strength return.
Well,
Did it work?
how do you feel?
She actually kind of tears up slightly.
Is that good? Bad?
It's good. I think that this will work. I can feel level 6 spell slots already.
That's good. Well,
June will point to one of the dummies that are over on the side and cast a 6th level burn. What's the word?
fireball.
oh, please God, no.
No.
There are like children around.
No, I was
children.
fracking. What's the freaking level 2? 3 spells go attack.
Searing ray?
Thank you.
Burn.
Searing
Ray?
ray. Yeah.
There's 3. Yeah.
Yes, she cast a 6th level searing ray.
All right, so many rays of fire appear in the air and blast out, obliterating the dummy in front of you.
That felt amazing.
It looked amazing.
All right, we still got a lot of work to do, he says.
She actually reaches out, hesitating because she doesn't know how he would react, and she goes, "Thank you."
You're welcome.
She'll take her hand back.
As Harper sort of walks back
She takes your hand. She's
meaningfully
standing
towards
there.
the dummy. Long enough of a break, Isaac, come on, he says.
Sorry, I broke your dummy.
Yeah, you did. I feel bad. We only got so many of those.
I one-shot your dummy.
With that, and some new thoughts to each one of your powers, we will go ahead and end the session there. Thank you for joining us, Noble Heroes. We really appreciate it. And do try this at home. Have a good day.